Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. A recent research article by the Reserve Bank of India on the significant increase in India's household financial savings during the COVID pandemic makes very interesting reading. It gives us a different insight on the state of the economy. Let's talk about it today. With the Indian economy contracting and slumping, jobs having been lost, businesses decimated and closed down, and all that resulting in financial stress, one would have probably expected that there will be a fall in savings. Savings will recede because one would think that people's incomes have gone down, they are struggling to survive, and the quantum of savings, therefore, from the household sector would also go down. But interestingly, it is the reverse, it is the contrary that is happening. Despite in quarter one, which is the quarter ended June 30, India's economy contracting by 23.9%, despite the economy being in a lockdown, despite the economy being in a recession, in other words, despite income not taking place, despite that, irrespective of this situation, India's household financial savings in this quarter, they rose to 21.4% of India's GDP as against 7.9% in the same period last year and is against 10% in the quarter ended March 2020. In other words, there has been a significant jump in India's household financial savings. The fact is that consumers have drastically cut back their spending, and that's because of job loss, because of income loss, and continued loss of confidence and fear that bad times are going on. And because of that, they have cut down their spending. Because of this, savings have gone up. Savings have gone up because of expenditure cuts, and they have all translated primarily into household financial savings. What are these household financial savings? They are savings by the household which have been invested either in bank fixed deposits or in mutual funds or in life insurance policies, or they have been kept as currency holdings in order to meet a bad time. At a time when India's economy continues to be in crisis, India's economy has been awash in liquidity. It has been loaded with household financial savings, household financial assets. The Reserve Bank's observations in this research, in this paper, are worth having a look. Let's discuss this state of India's household financial savings as it has emerged in the COVID pandemic that is going on. The first observation in the RBI's research article is that while in quarter one, India's GDP contracted by 23.9%, consumer spending went down by 26.7%. Perhaps because of that, household financial savings have increased to 21.4% of the GDP. Because of this increase in household financial savings, the bank deposits, they have gone up by 3 lakh crores within one quarter. Between March to June, the deposits of the household sector with banks has shot up by 3 lakh crores. The paper further says that normally household financial savings peak in the month of March and then they come down. They moderate by the end of the first quarter of the next financial year. That is, they come down by June. But this time it has not happened. Between June and March, there has been a drastic, a major jump and increase in India's household savings. Further, what has been also observed by the Reserve Bank of India is that bank deposits have gone up, and one would expect that loans and advances by banks should go up, but that has not happened. Bank loans which stood at 120 lakh crores as of 31st March, they have come down to 102.5 lakh crores by 30th June. In other words, the banks kept taking these household savings, but they have not been lending. The RBI paper then very pertinently says that India was not alone in this phenomena. Household financial savings during the pandemic have gone up in every major country of the world. It points out that in US, for example, between March and April, which is when the COVID pandemic was anyway at a kind of a peak in the US, at that time, the household savings have gone up by 20.7% in a matter of a month. It also says that in UK, between quarter 1 and quarter 2, that is between March and June, the financial savings of households have increased from 9.6% of GDP to 29.1% of its GDP. Therefore, like India witnessed a significant jump in household financial savings, so has been the case with US and the UK, as the RBI paper cites. It further points out that savings even in the Jan Dhan accounts have gone up. Under the Prime Minister's Garib Kalyan Yojana, 400 rupees a month are put in these Jan Dhan accounts, and the poor families have not spent. They have saved that money. Therefore, the crisis has actually spiraled savings. Instead of making people spend, they have managed to shrink their consumption basket. Where did all this money go? This money went, according to the Reserve Bank, primarily in mutual funds, because very often they did not find bank deposits to be giving them enough return. Therefore, they did go in bank deposits in a big way, but they also went in mutual funds because people wanted better return on investments. They also got invested in life insurance policies, and that's because due to the COVID pandemic and the prevailing uncertainty over health and life, people were encouraged to go and take life insurance policies. It went into fixed deposits, and it also went into currency deposits. It went into currency on hand, and that's because there was a scenario of what the Reserve Bank paper says, dash for cash. You might just need cash suddenly in an emergency, and people were willing to keep currency reserves with them. This is where the household financial savings got translated in this period. The RBI further says that there has been a reduction in discretionary spending in a major way. Discretionary spending is spending on non-essential items, and this reduction is called forced savings by the Reserve Bank. The households decided not to spend on non-essential items, and that's a compulsion of saving, and it calls it an increase in forced savings. It further points out that savings took place in the informal sector as well as in the formal sector in equal measure. They were all on the same page. The RBI further points out that there has been a shift in the consumption patterns such that there have been a conscious trend to avoiding of non-essential item spending, and precautionary savings have been going up. Precautionary savings have been going up because of a fear of uncertain times, because of reports of job losses, because of job losses that took place actually and which are also potentially reported. And thus, precautionary savings also went up in addition to what the RBI calls forced savings. In the estimate of the RBI's research paper, this scenario of a continued increase in household financial savings is going to continue as long as the pandemic continues, as long as the curve is not flattened, and as long as normal spending does not resume. Till then, it will continue, and household financial savings will continue to build up. This research paper of the Reserve Bank of India reveals some very interesting facts and analysis of those facts. What are our observations and inferences out of these facts about the major and massive increase in household financial savings of India as put up by the Reserve Bank of India? The first one we think is that such a big jump in household financial savings shows a stagnant economy. It shows an apprehensive economy. It shows an economy which is lying idle, and that is a matter of concern. Of course, it has come into this state now because of the COVID pandemic, but that is a challenge before the government. We need to activate it on a sustainable basis. The second, of course, when savings keep rising, it certainly shows that there is poor confidence in the consumer and poor confidence in the entrepreneur about his future, about their future and economic well-being. Unless that is not reversed and consumer spending remains low because of poor confidence of the consumer, we will continue to see an increase in household financial savings. The third, of course, as the Reserve Bank pointed out, there has been a drastic fall in discretionary spending that has been cut by households, and unless that does not come up, we are not going to see some big growth in the economy. The next inference that we have is that it is very apparent that savings are not getting converted into productive assets. They get converted into productive assets when the banks who take deposits finally lend money to the business sector to invest in businesses, to invest in new projects. That is not taking place. The banks are taking deposits and they are not lending. And of course, the investment rate in the country remains in a slump. It is completely languishing. That to us is a matter of concern. Savings from the households are a necessary fund flow for starting productive assets in the economy by way of new projects, new investments, and that is also stagnant at the moment. We need to activate it. Further, you look at the composition of the household financial savings. They are financial savings. So they are in fixed deposits, mutual funds, they are in LIC policies, and they are also in currency deposits, currency holdings of the households. It shows that households want to have their assets liquid. They need safety, they need liquidity, and they are risk averse. And that's one of the reasons why they're not really willing to invest in any asset which is illiquid, like real estate. This preference of households to keep their assets safe and liquid is a reflection of the prevailing state of the economy and of the level of confidence of the consumer and the spender in the economy. Further, yet another inference comes is that the real interest rates on bank deposits today are negative. With inflation taken into account, the return that you get in fixed deposits in banks today is a negative return. And that's why consumers, households are willing to invest in mutual funds, stock exchange shares also, and of course, life insurance policies. One thing that must be noted is that the household sector remains extremely robust, resilient, and solid. Even in such times, it has been saving, it has been strengthening its own financial position, and it indicates that there is no pressure on the government to bail out the household sector. It is strong, it is independent, it has cut down its expenses in order to maintain its savings, and that's a matter of pride. We must also further note that low spending is taking place. The savings are going up, spending is not taking place. And if this trend continues, which is low income and low spending, that is not good for the country, that's not good for the economy. If we want to grow rapidly, we need to be a high income, high spending economy. At the moment, perhaps because of the pandemic and its effect, we are a low income, low spending economy. We need to get out of that. I'm sure with the kind of government policies that the government is thinking, we might be able to do that as soon as possible. At the moment, it indicates extremely poor growth of the GDP. And like the Reserve Bank points out, as long as COVID pandemic lingers, as long as the COVID curve is not flattened, as long as spending does not become normal, household financial savings, household financial assets will continue to increase. On one hand, it does mean a strong financial sector for the households, but on the other, it translates into an economy which is slumping, which is languishing, which is stagnant, and that's not good. So, while the household financial savings have gone up, we hope it doesn't continue for very long, that they continue to rise at such an abnormal rate, because as long as they do that, it means India's growth rate is going to be low. We need to reverse it at the earliest. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.